Now there is an egg. This is the largest egg in the world. Naturally, it comes from the largest bird in the world. Now compare this egg to this egg. This little egg comes from a hummingbird. Pretty big difference, huh? This shell is so strong that it can hold the weight of a full-grown man. And if you wanted to cook it for breakfast, you would have to boil it for 2 hours. The bird that produces this remarkable egg lives on the hot African plain and can go as long as 40 days without food or drink. Meet the incredible ostrich.
The ostrich is the largest bird on planet Earth, thought to have evolved from some sort of a large bird that used to fly, but it has a lot of size here compared to a hummingbird. Matter of fact, the eye of an ostrich is the biggest eye. It might be the biggest eye in land animals, but there are some little birds like hummingbirds that aren't even as big as the eye on an ostrich. So you have birds varying in large amounts in size and in abilities. A flightless bird like the ostrich, well then why does it have wings? Well, it uses its wings. It's not that there's some vestigial organ left over from some bird that used to fly. It has uses for those wings. It uses it to scare its enemies. It'll flap those wings and scare its enemies. If it runs fast, and they can run very fast, up 35 miles an hour and more, they use those for brakes. They'll hold their wings out so they can stop more. They use it for air conditioning. They'll hold them up and flap them, and there's certain kinds of blood vessels that circulate through the wings that they can cool down their blood with their wings. So the wings are not useless wings. Their feathers have no oil. Most birds have lots of oil in their feathers, and yet the ostrich doesn't. Well, that's really helpful for the desert conditions. It's really designed for harsh conditions. And in the daytime, it gets very hot, and so they have feathers that let the air circulate through them because they don't have oil that holds them together, and yet at night it can get very cold. Well, they have little muscles that control all of those feathers, like all birds do, and they can squeeze those feathers in or fluff them out a little bit, and they act as a good insulator on a cold desert night. Another fascinating thing that they've discovered about the ostrich is that it has the most powerful immune system of any animal, and it would require a lot more study. Why does it have such a powerful immune system? What is it about the ostrich that gives it that powerful immune system? But ostriches, they just don't get sick. They are so healthy. They can be exposed to various types of things that other birds, it just almost wipes them out instantly, but it doesn't seem to affect an ostrich. So I believe God has built into the ostrich some things that maybe some bright young people could discover that would be helpful to mankind there too, as far as what makes a good immune system, what makes a powerful immune system, because the ostrich it has it. An ostrich is powerful with its kick. And some of the literature says that an ostrich with one kick can kill a lion, and it knows how to kick a lion so that it can kill it. Well, where does that information come from? Because, I mean, it's not going to be learned information. If the lion eats the ostrich, it's not going to learn how to kick it. So it had to have that information somehow put into it so that it knows what to do. If a lion or a cheetah tries to catch it and eat it, and they have that nice long neck so that they can have a nest down in the grasses, and they can put their head up and look, and they don't bury their head in the sand. We see that all the time, but they do have a behavior where they will stand and kind of put their head down on top of the ground, and so there is a behavior where they do that, but they don't bury their head in the sand when danger is coming along. The ostrich has only 2 toes on its feet. Most birds have 3 or even 4 toes on their feet. And where does that come from? One of the toes has a large hook or large claw, which they use. That's their defensive weapon, is using that particular. So they know how to strike and do damage with that claw. And yet they can balance a big bird like that. As a matter of fact, People ride ostriches, and they have ostrich races over in sub-Sahara areas, and which I guess sound like fun if you like to do that kind of thing. They have had ostriches that have pulled carts and things like that. So they've been trained, so they're apparently intelligent enough that you can train them to do certain little tasks, and they guide them by pushing on their neck, and they have various ways to do that. So it's a fascinating bird. What a unique, different creature the ostrich is.
Did he just say the ostrich could kill a lion with a single kick? Wow, that is one powerful bird. Did you ever think what would happen if the ostrich needed time to develop this defense ability over hundreds of years like evolution teaches? Keep in mind what we just saw. The ostrich is grounded. It can't fly, and it's living on the African plains filled with hungry predators like lions, hyenas, and jackals. So if the ostrich couldn't defend itself, what would happen? It wouldn't last 5 minutes. It would be breakfast for some other hungry creature, and that would be the end of the ostrich. The poor ostrich wouldn't even have a chance to evolve.
You look at the animals, and you can't have a partially functional liver or pancreas or lung. It either functions or it doesn't function. And I was taught in evolution, if you don't use it, you lose it. All right, well, how do you use a partially formed pancreas? You either have to have the whole thing there with everything working, or it doesn't work. Now, some people bring up, oh yes, but what about the appendix? We don't really need the appendix. Well, yes, we do. These things called vestigial organs that they're supposed to be leftovers from our ancestors. It was like 180 vestigial organs. We were told, oh, they have no function at all. Well, now they found functions for all of them. You have your appendix taken out. Oh, I don't need it. You see, God made a mistake. I don't need that appendix. Well, maybe not so much as an adult, but when you're a little baby, you need that appendix. It's part of your immune system. So we need all of our parts. God made them all. They all have to work in harmony with each other. How do you get that with just mindless, random chance processes? Over how many billions of years would you need? It's impossible. There would not be enough time, let alone the information needed to make those things work like they work.